Just a friendly reminder, before you try to correct people, you need to do your own research first. Like, no offense, I'm not offended by this in any way, but I just want to say, I think you mean looped. Yes, this is correct, but this is not the full picture, and today I'm gonna give you the full picture of 76 when it was first introduced till today. I'm gonna start with the first generation of 76, which had entirely no relation with the current 76. So this is first gen of 76, and it was from around 1981 to 1988. So back then, this sector of MRT from like Jurong East MRT to Clementi, it did not exist. So 76, back then, it was Clementi Interchange, Commonwealth Avenue West, Boon Lay Way, and then it looked at Jurong East Central, Jurong East Avenue 1, Jurong Town Hall Road, Boon Lay Way, and then back to Clementi. So this was its route. And after 1988, it became something known as SS2. So SS2 simply means Shuttle Service 2. This is not to be confused with Stadium Shuttle Service, which was a thing, I think, later on in the 2000s era or stuff like that. But back then, SS2 just meant Shuttle Service 2. Shuttle Service 2 was conceptually exactly the same. It went here, and then Jurong East Central, Jurong East Avenue 1. But it did not go Jurong Town Hall Road. It looped at Service 333's current looping point, which is Jurong East Street 32. It was something along these lines. And just to make it clear again, I was in primary school when 76 was Yio Chu Kang to Siglap Link Loop. I myself have witnessed this in real life. I have been through it. So, okay, let me just go way back in time. This is the second generation of Service 76, which is the current generation. And ever since it was introduced, it was Yio Chu Kang Terminal. Back then it wasn't called Interchange, it was just called Terminal. To Marine Parade Terminal. It terminated there. So again, from the beginning of time, it has always been Yio Chu Kang to somewhere near Siglap. But the first, the earliest rendition of the route did not go through Paya Lebar MRT. So it went Paya Lebar Road, Ubi Avenue 2. This might look familiar because this is kind of similar to the current Service 22. Eunos Link, Jalan Eunos, and down. Steel Road South. Oh, it was Steel Road and then Steel Road South. And yeah, like this. Marine Parade Road. And then it turned to Siglap Road. Marine Parade Terminal was like around this area. And then only later, which is like the second version of the route, it went MacPherson, Paya Lebar MRT, Tanjong Katong Road, Mountbatten Road, Amber Road, and then Marine Parade Road. And historically, Service 76, I repeat again, did not go inside Marine Crescent and Marine Terrace for this version of the route. So Marine Parade Terminal. And when Marine Parade Terminal closed, everything that originated from that bus terminal had to loop like this. So this included services like 16, 135, 155, 76, and 853 hex or 853X, 853C, whatever you call it. And service 16 was only later extended to Bedok after CSS 608's withdrawal. I'm just gonna show you 608 over here, just for fun. Like this, like this, like this, and then like this. So only when this 608 got withdrawn, Service 16 later took over this sector on its way to Bedok, because historically Service 16 was a loop service from Bukit Merah to over here. And then there was also 16E that went to Changi Airport, but that's not related to the video. So again, terminal close, everything was forced to loop outside, and 853 hex got extended to Upper East Coast Terminal. So that was the history of Service 76. And it was only later, like year 2011, where they decided it wasn't worth it to make Service 76 go all the way to Siglap link loop. So Service 76 became this. It just looped like that. They just cut it short. So now you might be curious what kind of buses Service 76 used in the past. So during my time, this was its dominant fleet, Mercedes-Benz 0405, and this bus in particular, the photo was taken by SG Buses, and he has given me permission to use all of his photos in my videos. This is converted aircon. It used to be non-air conditioned, and then they converted it. So the thing about the CACs, its interior wasn't it wasn't necessarily like the maroon or grayish white kind of thing. This one was like grayish white and cream, like cream color. And then there was also this as well. And this one is SBS 500A. This one is original aircon. So when this thing was first introduced, it already had aircon. So this one was actually like the last surviving variant of this bus model. This one is an 0405 Mark 1. The SMRT ones were 0405 Mark 2. So these, they use W3E 110/2.2R. That was the gearbox that it used. But these gearboxes, it sounded like really nice, and it was one of my favorite sounds. But as the gearboxes, they just got worn out, they broke. SBS Transit, they had to use like the Voiv 381.4s or like 384.3s, and then the ZF, I think 4HP 500, they had to use these gearboxes that were like spare gearboxes that were lying around in order to replace them, like retrofit them. But just know that originally these were W3E gearboxes, and I still think it's the best sounding gearbox of all time. Again, that is subjective, but for me that was the best, and that's why I loved these buses so much, even though they were objectively crap. So this one was OAC. It already came in aircon, and the interior, like I said just now, is the panels were like on the top, the ceiling, the side panels were like maroon color, pinkish sort of thing, And then the interior in general was like grayish white, but more towards like the gray side. And then there was also this one. Now 76 was mostly using like the Dupo Medsec. This one was Walter Alexander PS. I still think there were a few of these on 76, but the dominant one back then was the Dupo Medsec bodywork and not the Walter Alexander PS bodywork, which is shown here. This one was taken at Serangoon Gardens. And then for double decker, 76 was like half double decker, half single decker in the past, around there. So this was B90L CDG before it had EDS, and this one is Volvo Olympian 3X. So this was batch 3. Also before it got retrofitted with EDS. There were also, because this thing belonged to Ang Mo Kio Depot, it also had a few Leyland Olympian 3XOs as well. And I also think historically it probably had LO2X, although I couldn't find pictures of it. And then occasionally cameos like these, they happened on 76. And this particular unit, I think it was like 9810 or something. One of the units back in the early days, it already had like the EDS fitted onto it, like ever since manufacture. Was it 9810 or 9814? I cannot remember. But just know that these buses, they all used to have desto, like the destination desto. Yes, even the VSO, some of them actually still have like the destination printed onto the plates themselves. So yeah, the credits are here. I hope you can see it. Oh yes, it's 9810, not 9814. So these were more or less cameos in the past. Sheen.